just surviving in the Championship, in my opinion, is Millwall. In 14th, I've got Hull City. 6th, now I might get a bit of stick for this, but I put Middlesbrough. Oh, guys, what was I thinking? Absolutely shocking. Hi guys, welcome back to the Swans Away Days YouTube channel, back again for a video, and today, unfortunately, I'm reacting to my championship predictions now. As you've seen in the intro, a few clips there, I've had some absolute howlers, and you know, I'll be going over my predictions. I've had a few right, but I've had a lot wrong, and you know, if there was an opposition fan on here, I'd be giving myself a lot of criticism, or me a lot of criticism, because if I've ranked your club low down, like I've ranked a vast few of clubs really low, and some clubs did better than I expected, but some absolute stinkers in there. So if you do enjoy this video, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and let's get into this. So, in 24th place, I predicted Charlton Athletic. Now, I went too far off. Charlton finished 22nd in the end, just got relegated. So, I'm not going to say it's right, but I did get them correct because they did get relegated. So, it was close, but Charlton, at the start of the season, they had a really good start to the season. You know, being Leeds, narrowly lost to Swansea. They were doing really well, you know, charging the top six in. I think just before Christmas, they had a lot of injuries, and then just had a massive crisis of injuries. You know, Lyle Taylor being out, and then after lockdown, results changed a little bit for them favour, but you know, it's still weren't enough to survive. So Charlton were down to League One, and didn't get my prediction right, but I still got them relegated. Third place, I had Wigan Athletic, so I've got my first prediction right. I don't want to sound too clever because Wigan did finish like 13th, and I had minus 12 points deduction. So I don't care really. It's right. I don't care. It is right, guys. They did finish 23rd. Yes, I'm being a bit harsh, but I think this could be the only one I've got right. So Wigan Athletic. Obviously they had a minus 12 points deduction because of the administration with the issue over in Hong Kong, I believe. It was quite disappointing for Wigan's perspective. You know, they'll be playing League One football this season. Paul Cook's left. A number of their players like Kiefer Moore, Anthony Robinson will leave as well. So they could struggle next season in League One. Wigan, it's a good club. They've been there a few times. Really nice fans. Good surroundings. So hopefully for Wigan's sake, they get back up to the Championship one day. In 22nd, they've got Luton Town. Luton Town actually finished 19th. They did very well to stay up in the Championship. This prediction looks spot on for the majority of the season. They were flirting between 23rd and 24th all season, and then when Nathan Jones came in after lockdown for a second spell of the club, they did really well, beating us 1-0. They had a few other good results as well, being Blackburn on the final day to stay up. So you got to give it to Luton. You know, they've got a small stadium. I think they've got the lowest budget in the league, and you know, a lot of people, including myself, are thinking they'd really struggle this season. I didn't predict them to finish bottom though, like some people. I thought they'd do okay at home, and they did. But you know, Luton next season they're gonna have to invest because that squad needs investing, and they did well this season. Did better than what I predicted, but you've got to give credit to Luton Town and Nathan Jones. Got to give a shout out to Graham Jones as well. He did okay there, but I think if he stayed at Luton and they didn't sack him, then definitely would have gone down. I probably would have gone with prediction right. Crikey, oh crikey! In 21st spot, I put Millwall. Millwall actually finished 8th. So I was well off. So if there's any Millwall fans, be free to criticise me, because what on earth was I thinking? You know, you signed Ryan once, who's a good player. You had experienced Championship strikers like Matt Smith, Bud Vartson. You had Blee, Wallace at the back, Murray Wallace as well, and Lee Wallace. You had Bilakowski and goals, a good keeper, and then you had Jed Wallace. So why did I put you 21st? I don't know. Absolutely shocking prediction from my part there. They should have finished a lot higher than 21st, and they did. But I don't know what I was thinking. You know, Neil Harris at the time was a good experienced manager. They were doing quite bad at the start, and they got rid of him and brought in Gary Rowett, who's done an exceptional job there, pushing the playoffs for Millwall. So I don't know what I was thinking. It's the first real howl of the video, so I apologise to any Millwall fans, but there's plenty more howlers to come. In 20th place, oh, this just gets worse and worse, doesn't it? 20th place, I had Queen's Park Rangers. Now QPR came 13th. Again, well off. What was I thinking? Ebrick Eze, Bright Samuel, Jordan Hugel, Narky Wells for the first part of the season. They've got a good team, a good mid-table team, potentially playoff team, and I put them 20th. You know, I'm an absolute idiot. I'm not getting back now. I know hindsight's a wonderful thing and that, but 20th place QPR when they got Eze, Hugel. Oh, absolute stinking opinion. So sorry QPR fans, you did very well this season, to be fair. You know, you signed a lot of players. I think I might put you that low because you signed a lot of players, and it could have been hard to adapt, but you did very well. You know, you had picked up some really good results this season, beating Leeds at home. That was a good result for you, especially beating Swansea 5-1 in the Cup, Cardiff 6-1. So you had some good results this season, but you could have finished a lot higher if you were a bit more consistent. But I think you're out to take 13th from 20th spot like I put you. 15th spot, another howler for me. I put Reading. Don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. Reading actually finished 14th for the Championship, so they did a very, very good job. Absolutely shocking opinion from my part there. They had a good team, they had a good manager at the time. Gomez was a Portuguese manager. He did pretty poor there, but then they brought in Mark Bowen, he stabilised the club and got them comfortably mid-table. Don't know why I predicted you to finish so low, to be honest. You had some really good defensive options. You had that Rafael in goal, who I think is a decent keeper. You had Morrison and Moore at the back, who's good fullback in Andy Adam as well. So defensively, I don't know why I expected you to finish so low. Maybe it was just the goals, but Yaku Mate did a very good job. So I apologise to any Reading fans watching this video, because again, it was another absolutely stinking prediction. In 18th spot, I put Barnsley. You know, I think I overestimated Barnsley a little bit. I was very impressed with what they did in the summer. They had some very good experienced players, Alex Marwitt, Corley Woodrow, some really good players like that. So I expect them to do a lot better, because they were playing possession football. That was supposed to be their style. They had this Austrian manager, I believe, or German manager, and he got sacked, and then they brought in another Austrian manager, I believe, Gerhard Struble, something like that. But he did very well, you know, kept them up on the final day. Surprisingly, they came 21st, which, you know, is good for Barnsley, considering a lot of people, not myself though, but a lot of people predicting to get relegated. So, go give the Barnsley a decent away day. Had a lot of trouble with Stewarts this year with filming and all that, but still managed to get the vlog out. But well done, Barnsley, for staying up. I did predict to stay up. Those who can't criticise me too much, Barnsley fans, but again, not the best prediction, but I was kind of close. Oh, so close to getting this one right. In 70th spot, I put Sheffield Wednesday. They actually came 16th, really close to getting this spot on. I think what I said in the summer was spot on about Sheffield Wednesday. I said they had some good players, like Stephen Fletcher, players like that, Fernando Forestieri. But what I said about them is correct. They're too inconsistent, and that is really spot on. I said they don't get enough goals, and they don't. Like I said, they got a lot of good players, and for the amount of quality players they got going forward, they just don't score enough goals. I think they scored under 20 goals at home this season, which is absolutely shocking. I think they scored 2 against us at home, which just says all really. But you know, Sheffield Wednesday, only if they finish a spot further down, then I would have got it right. So you can't criticise me too much on that one, guys. That was kind of close. But Sheffield Wednesday, you know, they'll have a minus 12 points deduction next season, so they're going to start off next season with minus 12 points. So I think a lot of people will be predicting Sheffield Wednesday to get relegated next season. Again, overshot another team. 16th spot, I put Birmingham City. They actually came 20th. They had an absolutely appalling after lockdown. They were absolutely appalling after lockdown. Didn't win a single game. I think they're the only team in the Championship not to win a single game. They didn't pick up many points either. I think it was 1 or 2 points. So, you know, Pep Clotet, I don't rate him, to be honest. I thought he did a bad job there. You know, they have some really good players. Jude Bellingham, Peterson, Maxime Collin. They have some really good fullbacks. Lee Camp, you know, he's a half-decent keeper. You know, sometimes he performs, sometimes he doesn't. Then, you know, you had Jukovic, Hogan up front. Hogan for the second part of the season. He scored some goals, but I'd expect Birmingham to do a lot better. You know, 16th, where I predicted them, is not exactly the greatest spot in the world, but it's a lot better than 20th. So again, overshot a team, not the best prediction, but it's not a howler, which is the most important thing. 15th, I thought Blackburn Rovers. They actually came 11th. Again, I'm looking back right now in hindsight and all that. And why did I pick them to finish so low? Bradley Dack, Danny Graham, Adam Armstrong, Gallagher up front. These are decent Championship players, and you know, I predicted them to finish so low. But to be fair, they did push for the playoffs for the majority of the season, and just, you know, fight for the final few games they fizzled out towards the end. But I think Blackburn will look on to this as a positive season. 11th spot, did very well, considering a lot of people, including myself, predicted them to finish a lot lower. Bradley Dack was injured for a large spell of the season as well, so without Bradley Dack, they still had some good creative opportunities. Like Adam Armstrong, he scored a lot of goals this season, very underestimated and very underrated at this level. So, you know, Blackburn, if they can keep hold of their few players and maybe get a few additions in next summer, then I don't see why they can't fight for the playoffs. So, sorry Blackburn fans for another shocking opinion. Might as well just end this video here. 14th spot, Hull City. It's just absolutely laughable, innit? Hull actually came bottom, 24th. at the start, well, between January and the part of the season before that, it was looking alright. They were flirting between 12th and 8th in that sort of range. They had Camille Grisky and Jared Bowen, really good players. They're kind of a two-man team, Hull, with both of those two, and Tom Ellis was getting some goals, and as soon as those two left, the confidence just dried up. The manager, can't remember his name, Grant McCann, didn't really have any other plans, so it's a very disappointing season for Hull, and there's a very disappointing prediction for myself. Probably, I wouldn't say it's the worst one, there's still some more worse to come, guys, but Hull League One football next season, quite sad considering they're in the Premier League a few seasons ago against sellout crowds. I know they got bad ownership, I know their fans are falling out with their owners, and a lot of their fans want Grant McCann out, but don't mind calling him Grant McCann, it's Grant McCann, innit? But Hull hopefully can get back up, but at least I want to have a trip to Hull on Friday night. 13th spot, I put Preston, they finished 9th, so not the furthest prediction, not the worst prediction. I think anyone between this mid-tier where I predicted, they could have finished anywhere in this sort of region, so I'm kind of happy with this prediction, to be honest. Preston, again, kind of fiddled out towards the end. They were in the playoffs for the majority part of the season, or the majority of the season, and they just fiddled out towards the end. They made some good signings this summer. Scott Sinclair was a good signing. I think they signed Patrick Bauer as well from Charlton Athletic in the summer. He proved out to be a good signing. They had, I can't remember the name, Johnson, I believe, in CDM. I don't think it's Johnson. He's got really long hair. Can't remember his name, but he's a good player. They did have some decent players. So, Preston, I know a lot of their fans aren't happy with Alex Neil's tactics, but at the end of the day, he's not going to get relegated. He's unlikely to get promoted, and, Preston are a team where you want to be challenging, and maybe next season they can challenge. So, again, sorry, Preston, for the bad prediction. I'll support to put my club, Swansea, and we actually finished 6 places higher in 6th place and got the playoffs. I'm very negative, as you know, if you watch my previews. I don't really predict us to win many games, and the only reason for that is if you're negative, you don't expect too much, and anything above negativity is a bonus at the end of the day, innit? So, I made this prediction on the back of Borja Bastón wasn't scoring goals in La Liga where he went. Andre, who had a poor season over in Turkey, and those two are backs. We didn't know what we could expect, what their attitude's going to be like. We lost Dan James and Ollie McBurney for combined 35 million, 40 million. So where were the goals going to come from? We lost Leroy Fer, club captain in midfield, was a very good player. We lost Federico. Sorry, no, we didn't lose Federico Fernandez this summer. It was last summer, but we lost a lot of players, and we all thought where the good goals going to come from, how the defence is going to be. But to be fair to Steve Cooper and the team, we did very well. Again, very inconsistent, but we got a little bit of consistency towards the end, which is always good, and narrowly lost out on the playoff semi-final to Brentford, who lost the playoffs. Unlucky Thomas Frank. But no, happy with the season. Again, underestimated us a lot. Next season I will be negative again because we're going to lose a lot of players, but it'll be interesting to see how we end out next season. Crimea River, generally Crimea River. 11th place, Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield Town finished 18th, just above surviving the drop. What on earth was I thinking? A lot of people were predicting Huddersfield to finish playoffs, and I said I don't think they will. I don't think they'll have a bad season. I thought they'd have a decent season, but my God, what was I on about? They lost. They lost Aaron Moy, who's a very creative player in the middle of the park, and you've seen that all season. They struggled for goals creativity, so they missed Aaron Moy a lot. But they still have some good players. Carlin Grant did well this season. Fraser Campbell is not a bad striker. They obviously re-signed Jonas Lawsell as well on loan. So you'd expect Huddersfield to do a lot better, hence why I put them 11th. But there's just a lot of issues at Huddersfield. Can't remember their manager. I think it was Jan Stevelt, who they had in the summer, from the Premier League last season. He didn't last too long. Danny Cowley steadied the ship, but again, they weren't doing the best. They narrowly stayed up, but no Danny Crowley next season. I think they got Leeds as under-23 coach now as their manager. So Huddersfield, it'll be interesting to see what they do next season. But I'm not going to say sorry, Huddersfield fans, because I expect you to finish around 11th. So actually, you should be saying sorry to me for letting me down. Why am I doing this video? Generally, why am I doing this video? 10th place, Stoke City. Stoke finished 15th. And Stoke had a decent end of the season, to be honest. By the start of the season, they were bottom. Nathan Jones wasn't doing the best there. And then Michael O'Neill came in, then obviously the Northern Irish manager at the time. He did a very good job stabilising the club. I think we've seen a lot of Stoke youth players coming in as well. The likes of, can't remember his name up front, Campbell. He's done very well. Valinden, without his injuries, he'll be a very good player at this level. James McLean's performing really well. Nick Powell's getting a few goals as well. So there's a lot of positive things coming out of Stoke at the moment that is good for Stoke fans. But I still expect to finish a lot higher. I didn't expect Nathan Jones to do that bad. I thought he'd stabilise the club, be a lot more defensively stable, and that just wasn't to be. So Stoke next season, I'm expecting a lot from Stoke, especially with an experienced manager. They need to get some of the dead without. I think Diouf's already left. I think Butler needs to leave. I think some other players need to leave as well, because there's a lot of high earners at Stoke, and they could be in financial trouble if they don't get rid of them. Oh, so close to getting Derby County correct. In 9th spot, I put Derby County, and actually they finished 10th. One position off, and I thought it was pretty fair in Derby in the summer. I'm not sure if they signed Rooney. I don't think they did when I did this prediction, but I said they're going to be a mid-table club. I said they weren't going to do as well as last season, losing likes of Tomori, Harry Wilson, Mason Mount, but they did make some good additions in the summer. I think goalkeeper area was a huge issue for Derby this season. They had no stability in net. There was a lot of mistakes from Roos and Hamer. Ben Hamer on loan from Huddersfield. You're having a problem if you're loaning players from Huddersfield, especially when they finish so low. But Derby, they had an okay season. I think we've seen a lot more from the second half of the season when Wayne Rooney came in. I think that gave everyone around the club a bounce, and they could be fighting for playoffs next season, but I think they've got to address a lot of areas, including the goalkeeper situation. So close yet again. I've had one spot on prediction so far, and I've been like 3 off, like one spot, and again Nottingham Forest predicted to finish 8th and they came 7th. Looking back on it, it's not that close, but actually it is. Nottingham Forest were 5th or 4th for the majority of the season and dropped on the final day to the Swans. So thanks for that, Nottingham Forest. Cheers, Stoke. But no, Nottingham Forest have had a good season, in fairness. Last season under Martin O'Neill, I think it's Martin O'Neill anyway. They were playing boring football. They were getting some results, but football wasn't easy on the eye. There was a lot of negativity surrounding Nottingham Forest. So they did a very good job. Sally Mucci, again, he's quite a defensive coach, but they were getting results, and I think the pressure got to Nottingham Forest at the end, knowing it was in their hands with other teams winning. I think that put a lot of pressure on it. I didn't think Sabri Lamucci knew what he was doing. He was playing like 3 defensive midfielders at home, just trying to get that point to get playoffs, and it cost him in the end. But they're going to lose some players in the summer, maybe Matty Cash, Ribeiro, players like that, good players. So Nottingham Forest will have a good season next season if they can keep Sabri Lamucci. But more annoyingly for me, didn't get a prediction right. Absolute howler. Bristol City, I put 7th, they came 12th. Again, you look at Bristol City squad, they had a good squad. Jeju up front, Ashley Williams they signed, was a good experienced defender. Callas, they had that Leicester centre-half, Benkovic on loan. They had a really good team. De Silva in midfield as well, Palmer. De Silva's a full-back, but Palmer. They had some really good signings, and the good thing with Bristol City owners is they invest a lot in their team, and it's not the owners' fault that they didn't spend. They did spend. It was just Lee Johnson's managerial prowess, really, and his stubbornness not to change things. Casey Palmer's left out the squad a lot when he was signed in the summer. He's supposed to be a creative midfielder. Lee Johnson's complaining about not creating enough chances, and leaving someone like Casey Palmer out the team. So it didn't make much sense to me when they had the caretaker manager. Then for the final couple of games, they did okay. I think we were the only team to beat Bristol City under the new caretaker boss, which is always good with the managerial bonus. But be interesting to see who comes in for Bristol City. Will it be someone like Chris Houghton? I know talks have failed, but will they go back into talks? There's been rumours about former Wigan manager Paul Cook. I think Paul Cook will be a decent boss for Wigan, getting some solidity in Bristol City, and I think he would have the opportunity to potentially take Bristol City up to the Premier League. Now, Reese, what was I thinking? The worst prediction, well, not ever, but I've seen out of all the vloggers. Middlesbrough, 6th place.
Breaking news, man in Swansea is done for fraud for absolutely shite predictions.
Oh my god, Middlesbrough actually finished 17th. Absolutely shocking prediction for me. Luckily enough, they didn't get relegated, because that would really be embarrassing. But, I thought Jonathan Woodgate, it was his first job, but I thought he'd do a decent job. He's learnt off some good managers of the past, and, he used to play for Middlesbrough. So usually when a legend at your club does take over his managerial job, they usually do a bit better, but it wasn't to be from Jonathan Woodgate. He was a very defensive coach. They weren't scoring many goals. They were conceding a lot. They did pick up 1 or 2 decent results now and again, but inconsistency. They were inconsistently shit. No offence to Middlesbrough fans, but you were just woeful. And then when Neil Warnock came in, he stabled the ship. He kept you up, and you've got him next season, so you definitely won't be going down next season. But I don't think he'll be fighting for them playoffs. Maybe mid-table for you, but I'm just so surprised how you did so bad, especially with some players you got. You had like Paddy McNair, who's really good at Sunderland, Britis Malonga, Rudy Gestead, who's a handful sometimes, Patrick Roberts. You had some good attacking players, but you just weren't doing the good. So best of luck for Middlesbrough next season, but I definitely won't be putting you 6th spot. Second prediction right of the video. I'm not too happy. I predicted Cardiff to finish 5th, and they did finish 5th. But you never want to get your Royals predictions right. And a lot of people give me criticism at the start of the season when I predicted Cardiff 5th. And, you know, when we were like November, December time and Cardiff were like 13th, 14th, I looked like an idiot. But I was right towards the end. They got rid of Neil Warnock in, I think it was October time, soon after we beat them in the derby. He was doing a bad job at Cardiff. You know, he's a legend at Cardiff City, I think. You know, getting them promoted, getting them relegated as well. Sorry, Cardiff fans, I had to get that dig in there. But, you know, I think it was time for a change for both, for Cardiff and Neil Warnock, to be honest. I think, you know, when you spend a lot of time at a club, it gets a bit, I don't know the word, but it just gets a bit stale. So you brought Neil Harrison, who's quite similar football to Neil Warnock. He's done a good job, to be fair to Neil Harrison. I didn't expect him to do this well. I don't think the majority of Cardiff fans expect him to do this well. But he got into the playoffs, you know, did a really good second leg against Fulham. First leg, you weren't so good, but if you were just a bit better first leg, who knows where you could have been now. You could have been up in the Premier League. But I think they'll have a very good season next season. Neil Harris is a good manager. You've got some good players there. Tomlin, I think he's injured again, but injuries are costing him. I rate Glatzel a lot. I like Curtis Nelson. So you do have some good players. So fingers crossed you don't do well next season, but I think you'll probably finish above us again. Lost out on goal difference. Bloody Brentford. I picked Brentford to come 4th. They came 3rd on the same points as Fulham on goal difference. I was close with this one. I predicted Brentford to go up for the playoffs again. They lost in the playoff final, so I'm not too disappointed with this. It was quite a good prediction. I expect them to do well. I know they lost Neil Bowlby, but Thomas Frank was starting to get a lot of consistency towards the end of 2 seasons ago now. I thought they were going to sign a striker, but I think they failed for Ivan Toney on deadline day. Ollie Watkins, who was a winger, was up front this season. He scored a lot of goals. I think he was second in the Golden Boot race. Said Benram had a really good season. Brian Mbeumo was really good. They had some really good players. I like that Emiliano Marcondes. Can't pronounce his first name. I give up with that. But, you know, they had some good players. Janssen at the back was a very good signing. Defensively, they were a problem last season, conceding too many goals. That's why they brought in David Raya from Blackburn as well. So they did it right this season, Brentford. Be a bit disappointed not to go up with their new stadium for this season, but it'd be a good ground to visit. Hopefully it's not one of the first 3 games, because I think the first 3 games will be behind closed doors. So fingers crossed that game's later than the first 3, but I don't think it was a bad prediction. In 3rd place, I put Fulham. They actually came 4th, like I said, on goal difference with Brentford. It was a very unlucky prediction, to be honest. Scott Parker, again, I didn't think they get automatics just because of inexperience, but I think he's learning on the job. You know, his first job as a managerial coach, and he's got them promoted. What a way to put that on your CV. If he does ever leave Fulham in the future, I don't think he'll be short of jobs, because getting someone promoted, well, there's a lot of expectation. It was not an easy task, you know, there's a lot of pressure on him. You know, trying to handle big players like Alexander Mitrovic, as that attitude's going to be right, and they did do well. Mitrovic, top scorer, they did okay. But again, you know, coming 4th and getting promoted just shows how disappointing Brentford will be. So, kind of disappointed with this. Well, not disappointing, it's just a little bit annoying. Second place for West Bromwich Albion, and West Bromwich Albion did come 2nd, so it's my 3rd prediction right in this prediction. I didn't think they'd win the league just because I thought Leeds would do the business, and they did. They had some good players. Weren't too sure about the signing of Kenneth as a whole, and I was right on that. I didn't think he was a good signing. They spent a lot of cash in. But Charlie Austin, he scored some important goals this season. Dean Garner played very well this season. Jake Livermore in midfield was a very experienced player. Johnston in goal, I know a lot of West Brom fans give him a lot of criticism, but I don't mind him. I think he's a decent player. So West Brom thoroughly deserved to go up. Nearly balled it towards the end though. There's a lot of pressure on and they weren't getting the right results, but Brentford failed to capitalise on it. So fair play to West Brom, I think. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the Premier League. Obviously, can they be a yo-yo club like Norwich, or will they be able to have a good spell in the Premier League like they did last time? And to end off the video, this is my 4th prediction right of a 24, which isn't too bad comparing to a lot of others. 24, it's not bad. Considering I had a couple as well, which were quite close to each other, it's not the worst in the world. So I put Leeds United top, and they did come top quite convincingly. I thought Bielsa Ball, he did very well. You know, they were 2nd for the majority of the season, in West Brom were dropping points. They capitalised on it. They didn't really lose too many games. They had that one-off result now and again, like the Swansea and QPR, but there was only like 1 loss in every 5 games. So Leeds United fully deserve to go up. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the Premier League with their atmosphere. Home form will be exceptionally important for Leeds United next season. I don't think they're going to invest too much into the squad. They might make 1 or 2 signings. Be interesting to see how Patrick Bamford does. A lot of people are giving him criticism and don't think he's ready for the Premier League. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I'm really excited to look forward to Leeds in the Premier League. Marcelo Bielsa is a fantastic coach. He's up there with Pep Guardiola in my opinion. I know people are probably thinking, why are you saying that he's in the Championship? But even Pep Guardiola and Mauricio Pochettino have given Bielsa a lot of praise. So congratulations to Leeds, and thanks for getting my prediction right. That's 4 out of 24 correct. Thanks guys for watching this video. Please hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's the worst prediction I've made. It's probably going to be the Middlesbrough. Best prediction I've made, do you know what, I'll probably go for Cardiff in 5th, just because a lot of people didn't expect that. So 4 out of 24 is not the worst. Let me know your tail predictions. Did you get any right? I had 4 out of 24. I could have had a few more, but it is what it is. So again, I'll be doing the next season's tail predictions just before the season starts, like 12th September, so probably the 10th of September or the 11th. So can't wait to review that next season when I get probably less than 4 right. But if you did enjoy, please hit a like button. It's all appreciated. All your support's appreciated at the moment. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I need a one more chance, oh baby, let me show you. I need a one more chance, oh.